Thank you so much. Okay, welcome everybody to Meet My Friends. My guest today is Nadia Gilkes. She is my guest number 18. Welcome, Nadia.
Thank you for having me.
I love your hair. It looks so
Thank
pretty.
you. I haven't been to my barber in a minute. We're in the midst of this pandemic. I've only ventured out to him twice. I need to go visit him again, but I love having the shaved part. It was really freeing when I did it.
I'm glad. I'm going to allow you to record, okay? In case you want to upload the video or if anything happens to mine, then we also have your copy.
Okay, well then I'll go ahead and start recording then.
Thank you.
There you go.
You see that? Okay.
Mhm.
In case we miss it, welcome back again. This is Me, My Friends, episode 18. My guest today is Nadia Gilkes, and I was just giving her the welcome, but I wanted to make sure she records as well.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about you.
Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. I am born and raised in upstate New York, Rochester, New York. I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, but I am not a fan of the weather. So that has eventually led me to the West Coast, where the chances of me having to pull out a shovel are very slim, and I love that. But I do rock my Bills stuff every single day. I'm an author, an attorney, I'm an artist, I do quilting, and I just have a lot of interest and too little time. But I really have a passion for helping others, and everything that I tend to gravitate towards is putting in on somebody else's success or helping people to build their legacy. That's really my passion. So I think at my heart, I'm just a compassionate person.
That's really pretty, having a compassionate soul and really caring for others. And it shows. I met you at Toastmasters. I remember one of the conferences we went, one of the trainings, and I saw you up there with the board of directors and everyone who is president and important and taking a lot of pictures. And then I see you a lot. I used to see a lot of your live videos.
Yes. I've gotten away from that. That was a challenge that was put on by another Toastmaster where he was like, make a video every day for 90 days. And I think I made it to like 52. And then I was just like, I'm running out of things to talk about. But it really did help to get more comfortable with being on camera, because that's, 2 years ago, I would have never done something like this. I didn't like to see myself on video. I didn't like to be on video. I didn't seek it out. So there is something to doing it and getting over that fear and getting more comfortable with it. But yeah, every day for me, it was hard to find something worthwhile to talk about. So I made it to like 52 and it went kaput. Maybe I'll pick it back up, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good start.
Yeah, I actually did that challenge because I remember hearing Kathy Kulesha talking about they went to one of Darren LaCroix's seminar.
Hmm.
He's the one that proposed the idea and he did it. So I was following him. I did the 90 days and then I did
Oh,
the
good.
other ones. But what inspired me about you is those videos that you will do on the Toastmasters page.
Mm.
Because at the time I was a VPPR for Pro Toastmasters and you gave me so much ideas on how to promote the club. And you
Oh,
will be
good.
talking about branding, the colors we're supposed to use, that you have to ask people to have release a sign if they want to be photographed or videographed. And it's just so much input that I appreciate so much watching your videos because they taught me how to do my position at the time.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that was helpful and you found value in it. And that's really what I aim to do for my year of public relations manager, was just really help to guide people so that everybody is successful, because I want every club to thrive.
Even the one where you talk about your parting words, I love that one. When you have the glass
Oh,
of champagne, I love
yeah.
that one. I thought it was very thoughtful and sweet of you to even, taking the time to say parting words as you were leaving. And I thought, how cute that is that you have people in mind and you care for them and you want to make sure that, that you're saying goodbye and how thankful and how appreciative you are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was quite a year, being the first year for our district at that time. we had all been through so much. Nobody expected COVID to come in the midst of our first year, and it really threw everybody for a loop. But I started out planning a big celebration for everyone last July as we kicked off our first year, and everyone just really seemed to come together and really be excited at us being our own district in Southern Nevada. And I had essentially been the face of the district because I was the one that did the most live videos and things like that of all the top 7. And so I just felt it was only appropriate to formally say, okay, this is the end of my year and my term, and you're now into the hands of someone else. But, I'm always around, and, just to thank everybody that's always supported me. Because one thing, inside or out of Toastmasters, like, people are pulled in so many different directions. We have so many things grabbing at our attention. So when you really have those people that take time out of their day to support you, you really have to acknowledge that. And that's essentially what I was doing, was just thanking the people that had been there every step of the way, because they could have been doing a million other things instead of helping me or volunteering in Toastmasters. And I really appreciate people's time.
But you are like a role model, Nadia, because I even remember before the Toastmasters conference this year, you were on TV. I tell like, oh my God, how cute is that you were chosen to be the ambassador or promoting Toastmasters.
If you would have seen me in the studio, I was so nervous. When you say, Toastmasters is where leaders are born, and you have to take your skills and use them outside of Toastmasters. As the public relations manager, I really just planned to be like scheduler in chief. I was like, okay, I'm going to book all these things, and then I'm just going to pick somebody, and they're going to go off and do the things that I booked. And it was the lessons learned. Like, I booked a spot on the news, and I'm thinking, oh, our district director will do that, or the program quality director. And nobody was available at the time that the news had a slot for us. And that's when I learned, if you're someone's PR manager, you better be ready to fill in the gig that you book, because if no one else is available, you're not going to turn down a news slot. But I was not thinking it was going to be me. And I'm glad it came out well, and people did feel like I represented Toastmasters in our district well. But it was just so funny. My stomach was in knots like that whole morning, because I was like, this is real. This isn't just Toastmasters seeing me. Because, Toastmasters, we applaud everything. We're trained. When you go on the news and it's put out to millions of people, they're not trained to applaud everything. Like, either they like you or they don't, and you don't know where that's going to go and how people are going to respond. But I'm glad that people really liked how I presented.
How long did you spot to?
Oh, it was only a 3-minute spot, but when you're
wow.
in it, it feels like it's forever.
I can understand that. Well, that was an accomplishment, definitely. And when we did the pre-interview with you, I remember you mentioning that you help people at the CSN becoming self-published authors, and I thought, how interesting is that? Mm-hmm. And then I go to your Facebook page and I see that you're also an attorney. So what kind of law do you practice?
I do family law. My license is actually in Texas, and I've been here in Nevada for about 4 years now. So I'm really at the crossroads where I'm deciding, okay, it feels like I'm going to stay here. Maybe I'll take the bar exam again and get licensed here in Nevada. But in Texas, my primary specialty was family law, and I love estate planning. I love to make sure that people have their end-of-life documents together. That is just so important. And it's such a gift for your family when they don't have to take on those decisions, because you've already taken the care to write out what you want, who you want things to go to, how you want your funeral plans to be. And I love starting those conversations. So, and that was pretty much the whole foundation of why I ended up writing my book, because I wanted to start those conversations. But what I've just found over the years, I really used to love family law a great deal. There's a lot of drama in it. It was real life Maury Povich almost every day. And so for me, it was a thrill for a long time. And then after losing my mom and having to go through my own family drama, it just didn't feel the same. It just kind of hit differently. And so I haven't really taken on too many family law cases since moving to Las Vegas, because that's just not where my heart is anymore. I didn't feel like I was necessarily helping people in the way I wanted to help them. There really is no winners when you have a family torn apart and you have children in the middle picking up the pieces. And so I'm really debating, one, do I want to take the bar again and practice here in Nevada? And two, what do I want to go into if it's not family? Because I've literally been doing that for over a decade now. So.
I think it'll be a good idea. I had Augusta Massey yesterday, and she has a book about law because she's an attorney as well. I was just thinking now, what if you could write a book giving people recommendations on how to make arrangements with the type of work that you have experienced in here? And maybe see if you can coach some people that necessarily will probably need your help and also are willing to pay you. Because like even assets and just letting your property in someone's name implies decision making, and sometimes you need someone to advise you, what is recommended and what should you think about before you decide, before you're sick and you cannot decide anymore, or you're not conscious enough.
Exactly. Yeah, and I've been working on a guidebook. I really want something that people can have to at least help them organize their thoughts and organize their assets. Not necessarily a will replacement, but it will kind of help you gather up and really think about what, look around your house. What is it that you have that's valuable? Who do you want it to go to? Because some of the worst wills are the most common ones, where it's like, you have 3 children and you say, I leave all my assets to my children, share and share alike. Well, mothers know their children. And if your children aren't sharing and sharing alike right now, I can guarantee you it only gets worse when you've passed away. And some of the most contentious fights that I've ever seen have been siblings in their 60s and 70s. And all of those issues that they've always had they come to light. And I think my very first probate case was horrible. It was 3 sisters, and it was, the oldest had married a rich man and everybody thought her life was charmed. The baby got to be the baby and she was coddled by mom, and then the middle child felt like she had to take care of mom in her elder years, and I didn't get to go to college because I had to take care of this and that, and you got to do that, and you married a rich man. It was horrible. They're in their 60s fighting over her assets, and we actually, because they could not share and like, they could not decide who got what. The judge actually had them all bring the property in their possession down to the courthouse, and they laid everything on the courthouse steps, and they had to have an auction amongst each other with the money out of their inheritance and essentially purchase what they wanted. And I looked at that and I said, I will never write a will in that way. I don't know who had written their will, but the share and share alike thing doesn't work. So when a client comes to me, I'm like, no, go through your house. If you know a certain child likes purses, leave your purses to that child. If you have collections, if you have artwork, leave it to people specifically, because sometimes people take things just to get back at another sibling. And it all stems from who was mom's favorite, or I didn't get enough love. But it plays out in such an ugly way when parents are gone. And what I found is that moms are usually the bridge or the glue holding things together that you didn't even know needed holding together. So yeah, I'm very passionate about it. That guidebook will be coming probably around the first quarter of 2021, because I want people to have good documents that are going to really express their true wishes when they're gone.
It's such a good topic, and helpful. And I can see the market definitely, especially with the situation now with COVID. Now, I was thinking, are you able to leave death for, can you leave what you own to your siblings, or no? That disappears when you die.
No, it doesn't always disappear. You don't have to worry about leaving debt. If it's something like student loans, they will hound whoever they can find. Wow. If it's any kind of loan, of course, that's going to still stand. So if you leave a mortgage behind, if you leave a car note behind, they're going to find someone, or they're going to take their asset back. And that's what a lot of people don't often realize is, again, when you talk about things like who do you leave your house to, And can that person afford to keep up the house? If they can't, you may have to put it on the market. But what does the economy look like? Is there going to be a profit, or are they going to be upside down and need to take a check to the closing? So there's so many factors that go into who you leave things to and why. You know, if there's a disabled child that you're leaving behind and they need a place to stay, you might want to leave the asset and a trust for them to always have some place to stay, because who's to say that their siblings or the next of kin is going to properly take care of them? So there's a lot of factors that go into how people make their wishes, but it's very important. And you can't just leave and assume that people will do the right thing, because I've seen too many cases where people just don't.
No, I can definitely see a case when a person dies and they still have debt on their property or whatever it is, and then on top of dealing with the laws, you have to deal with the legal part of what are you gonna do, or the bank taking your property, or aspects like that. I think is tougher to deal with if they're unsolved than if they're planned, or if there is some sort of guidance in how it's gonna go when I
Yeah.
pass out. I don't have anything, so it's
You,
but right
people
now,
say that all the
right
time.
now.
I guarantee you, you do. You know, I tell people all the time, you know, because I hear that a lot. And I
Yes.
say, if your house burned down right now, there's going to be something in that house that you really, really going to miss. So you have something that's valuable to you. We have all worked our whole lives for what we have right now, and we treasure our things. And trust me, there's someone else who does too. You know, you may have a car and say, oh, I don't have anything. Well, there's somebody who doesn't have a car, and that's the biggest blessing to them. You know, you could give things to charity or to family members in need. So if you look around your house and you really think about it and really start tallying things up, or just imagine if you had to replace everything in your house, how much would that cost? And then you realize, I really do have a lot.
I guess you don't feel like when you owe a property or something, you can actually hand it to someone. Like my car, I have a loan on it, so it's
Mhm.
not fully paid. So I don't feel like I can leave it for someone because I'm also leaving the debt. That's why I was asking you. Can you also leave the debt? Can you assign debt to a specific sibling or member of the family that you might want to partially benefit if that's the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. If you will a car or a home to someone, it is up to them to decide how they're going to pay whatever note is on it. And it can be difficult when it comes to a home, because if you can't refinance for whatever reason and put it in your name, of course you can still keep paying on it. The mortgage company is going to take money from whoever. But if for some reason you can't refinance it, then ultimately, if it got repossessed or defaulted on for whatever reason, it's going to be in the deceased person's name, not the inherited person's. So there is that. But, normally people have some kind of way to continue either paying the mortgage or rent out the property or sell the property. And when it comes to a car, if there's any kind of money that also was inherited, then you could use that to pay off the loan or what have you. So people can get creative, but worst comes to worst, you can almost always sell something and get a profit in a good period of time. I can't say in the COVID days, but in a normal economy, normally you could sell something and be okay if that's the way you had to go.
Yeah, probably right now you will have to sell kind of cheap in order to sell it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's weird. Our market is really out of control here in Las Vegas. Like, the prices of houses are still increasing and going through the roof. I don't know how long that's going to last, but right now it definitely is a seller's market, which is kind of crazy. And a lot of these big businesses are still booming. I mean, cars are still selling, houses are still selling. I still talk to people and they're fighting for properties, or they have to put an offer in right away because there's some other offer coming in. So, Las Vegas is unique, where we're still very cheap compared to people who are in California. So they can come here, put a cash offer on a house, and it's nothing to them. Whereas other places probably aren't doing as well right now. Like when you think of upstate New York or Detroit, I don't think they have that benefit. So it depends on where you are too.
Yeah, I think if people has the money, it's good to invest it in here because properties are cheap, and eventually it's gonna go up. I see the difference in town with the Raiders Stadium. how it's gonna bring so much business, even employing people. It's
Yeah.
a large amount of people who's gonna be depending on events right there, and it's at the center. It's not far from anything on the strip, so that is definitely a change where it brings this switch where it's not just nightlife
Mm-hmm.
and the scene city. Now it's also the sports city. So I
Yeah.
think it's a
I
positive.
I love that stadium. We're recording this on a Tuesday. So last night we got the first glimpse into the stadium, and I was just like, looking at the TV screen, like, oh my God, it's so pretty. And you hear the announcer, like, oh, the fans are going to be so excited when they get to walk through these doors. And they were showing all these different sites of the stadium. And, it's just such a blow because Buffalo Bills are coming here this year. And I really had planned to go see my Bills and see the new stadium and maybe take a tour. And yeah, all that money lost for this year. It's like, what do you do? I see some stadiums where they're letting like maybe 30% of fans come in, but the Raiders decided not to let anyone in. So we'll have to wait another year. But it's just such a beautiful sight off that expressway. Just you pass by and you see it all lit up and it's like black and shiny and it's just gorgeous. I love stadiums. So I can't wait to actually be able to walk inside and get a tour or see a game or a concert or something. It's beautiful. And I just in the 4 years I've been here, I've seen so much growth in Las Vegas, and I can't imagine what the next 10 years will bring, hopefully after we rebound. But to me, Vegas is just one of the prettiest sights in the world, and that stadium just adds to it. So I'm not a Raiders fan, but I love the stadium.
Well,
I'll talk
I'm sure they'll bring, variety of the sports to get people to join and come in to just enjoy themselves. I saw in the news like an inside map of what it is, and it's huge. Like you're excited because everything is new. There's a
Mhm.
new property, any seat, anything that it's in there, it's new. So it's like amazing just to think that you're gonna be walking in there to whatever event that you're going to, especially if you're like super fan, of them.
Yeah, I imagine they'll probably have large scale concerts and well, they were supposed to have a whole bunch of different things here, like the NFL draft. Maybe we'll get our chance in another year or two. And, they're going to have something huge there to really break it open. And I don't know if I'll be able to get a ticket to that first event that they have, but I'm really excited. And then we have the WNBA. I think we have a team that's in our second or third year. So I definitely want to see them and support the women basketball team. And I would love to see us have a soccer team. I know it's really hot, but soccer games are really, really fun. And yeah, they're really trying to make this, I guess, family friendly, not just casino, but a well rounded city. And, I'm good either way. I love shows. I moved here for the entertainment, but having sports venues just really adds to it.
They can do anything in there. I see the potential definitely, and
Mhm.
it's super big. I'm sure it will be organized. It's just that it's kind of like the hope of the city right now. And
Yeah.
and I'm thinking maybe they might come up to business earlier because now that the bars are opening, more of the casinos are opening their hotels. Is like I was working on the strip last week, and it's like the Memorial Day weekend was super busy. It was
Um,
hard to get in and out the strip. A lot of people came into the restaurant, and we had so many people waiting that you're surprised, even in this situation with the masks, they're still eager to enjoy themselves. So I thought, oh my God, it's looking like it's going back to normal. So it's exciting.
is back to normal, but our numbers are rising so much. So it's one of those things where I'm still on the fence. Like I've slowly been reintegrating myself back into society because I'm one of those that took the quarantine very serious. I've had an autoimmune disease in the past, and I just didn't want anything to happen where it hit me harder than most people. So I just kind of stayed in the house. So now I've been looking at the stats, and it seems like restaurants are like the worst thing you can do right now. So I'm trying to limit eating in a restaurant, but I think there's a lot of outdoor things that are really safe, and it's good to see people coming back. I just don't want this to be a hot spot like New York has been or California has been. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely the one that, well, I was not afraid. I didn't get COVID, and I worked. most of the season in restaurants, and you're not really that far of, people, especially when you're taking the order or dropping drinks or anything, and they have to take their mask off because they're eating, of course.
Mhm.
And but I didn't get anything. I was just excited to be back to work, and people will be so excited to go, like especially first timers. They'll be like, "Oh, this is our first time out," and they're so excited. I'm like, "Oh, you're virgins," and they say, "Yeah," and they just enjoy themselves so much, and it's just part of servicing people is your ability to enjoy with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
do
can't
like
wait.
customer service for that reason. And so a friend of mine will be here next week. She's so excited. She can't wait to hit the spas and everything else that Vegas has to offer. So I'm sure she's going to drag me to the strip, and that'll be my first time back since I think March. So it'll be interesting to see what's changed, if everything is open or which hotels have reopened, and just experience that. But if it's too much of a crowd, I might be like, you know what, I'm going to stay outside. I'm just going to walk the strip. So we'll see.
No, there is a lot of precautions still. Like you have to keep your distance. The tables are taken away in the middle, so they're not as close together. They can only seat maximum of 6 people, like
Mm.
per table, and we cannot put tables together. A lot of the cleaning processes have changed. Where now is like 2 liquids instead of one. Now you have to make sure. Now you have to let it dry, and it's all around everything that is in contact with any employee. So
Mm.
I think it has improved our cleanliness, which is good. And they're also more conscious about how they're prepping the food and how it's being kept in the safety zone.
Mm.
So I think, I mean, I don't want to say risk it, but maybe try and see if even if you're gonna get something small.
Okay. I definitely go out to restaurants and take it to go. So
Yeah.
just like doing a happy hour, which used to be one of my favorite pastimes.
Yes.
Get back to happy hours, especially when it comes to game day, because that's what I would normally do is like all day Sunday, Monday night, go to one of the restaurants or bars and just sit back and watch the game and just be festive with everybody else, especially if it's a Buffalo Bills game on. We're such a tight knit community. So, yeah, it'd be nice to safely be able to get back to those activities.
Oh, you will. It's just that if you want to, I've been to a couple happy hours at the same restaurant, and it's like I'm thinking, who am I gonna invite now so I can go back? It's been fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, so tell us about your book. What is the concept of the book, and why did you decided to write it?
Oh, Woke Up Dead is the title. And the cover is behind me. I also have a copy here. And the book is about a woman who wakes up at her own funeral, and she has to put her life back together after that. So it was really how would you do that? How do you go back to work when everybody thought you had died? How would your family treat you? Do you just go back home and go back to life as normal? It's pretty impossible. And I wanted to write it because I wanted to tie in those themes of estate planning, life insurance, therapy, all those tough conversations that we brush under the rug. I wanted to really bring them to light, but of course, nobody wants to sit around and just talk about those stories. So I had to wrap it in a whole lot of humor. So it's really a comedy because, this is 2016 is when I dated the book or something. So it's like we're in the YouTube age. Everybody has a camera. So of course it gets put on YouTube. It goes viral. So she's fighting this 15 minutes of fame and all these people pointing at her and recognizing her as the dead girl. So you're fighting that. Your family's a little unsure, like, I don't really know. You were in a casket. I saw you, like that kind of thing. I just tried to wrap it in a lot of humor, but through the story, really get people thinking about their end of life plans and what do they want, and maybe avoid an ordeal where the ceremony is not what they would have liked, even though you're likely not going to wake up and see and check and see what's there. But, if you really want things a certain way, it needs to be written out so people know. Or if you have ideas that are different from the rest of your family, it definitely needs to be written out, because if they don't know that or they don't agree with something that you want, they're going to do what they want to do because they know you're not coming back. So I tell people, write it down and pay for it, so that there's no confusion. You're going to get the celebration that you want and deserve. And a lot of people have really taken the book to heart. People have told me that they've read the book and then they've sat down with their kids or sat down with their family members and had a discussion. And one woman, I think she's in South Africa, it was really interesting. She said at the anniversary party, she said, I had always told my kids what I wanted, but I had never sat down and listened to what my kids wanted. And her kids are in their 30s. So it's a conversation that needs to be had both ways. And that was something that I hadn't even considered, but it just kind of opens the door to those conversations where people can openly talk around this funny story and really hash out what they want and let their family know.
I think it's good that you wrap it in humor because I can think of my older son, right? Like he's the one that has cost me the most money. And I can think of me passing away and then coming back and say, how could you not did my burial or whatever case? Well, I want incineration, but how come you didn't do what I wanted if I left you money and you just expended, you didn't care for me? I think it's funny to think about it that way. And how will you come back and talk to your siblings and to someone that you possibly benefited and they just got rid of you? Like, okay, mom, you're not here anymore. I do what I want.
Oh,
Take
that's
your money.
exactly what happens in the funeral scene. She wakes up and she's like, why is this casket so cheap? I have money. And it's very much in my voice and my personality. So it's like she looks around and she's like, where's all the Buffalo Bills stuff? Where's like, you know, I'm supposed to have this, this, and this. And that's like her first big argument with her family is like, I left you money. Where'd you spend my money? Because these arrangements look cheap. So who took off with my money? So yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, if people could come back sometimes, they probably would ask those questions.
Yes. That's really funny. Well, I'm glad that you took that approach, because I remember when I asked you about it, you told me it was a fantasy book. So for people that ever want to write a book, we want to let you know that you can also do that. It doesn't have to be a true story. It can be fantasy. It can be your own creation. It can be out of a dream that you had, and you can just become creative. And a lot of times it's a download that you get from the universe, from God. You just wake up and put your hands on the keyboard or the notebook or whatever it is that you write, and it's given to you. Like I was talking to Yudimorio the other day, and she says, I'm writing a book and I'm very excited about it. But what happened to me the other day is that I woke up and I was reading what I wrote and I thought it was amazing, and I don't remember writing that.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, so her not even able to remember. And I remember when I was writing my book, I will read it in the morning and I didn't thought it was good enough and I wanted to erase it. Then I'll be like, oh, I should have not done it. And it's like this wishy-washy feelings that you get, but ultimately trusting that it's given to you. And I know other authors, they don't feel like they need to get credit of writing the book because they feel it was given to them.
Yeah, my story was kind of the same way. It was literally a dream that I had. Like in the dream, I actually woke up in my own casket, but because of my quirky personality, it was hilarious because I did wake up and immediately cuss everybody out. So yeah, that's rare because I don't hardly ever remember all of my dreams. Like I don't really remember any of my dreams. So I knew that story had something to it because it lingered with me even after I woke up. But I always tell people, if you can go to sleep with something by your bedside, a little notepad that you can write in, or even using your phone. Sometimes I'll do a voice memo just to remember an idea that I had. And you never know what that could turn into. And even when you're editing and you think, oh, this isn't good or this part isn't right for the story, don't ever delete it, because it could be used another time in another story. So there's, even when you're just doing a brain dump and just writing whatever comes to your mind, there could be a sentence in there that spawns a whole new story. So don't ever throw any of that away or delete it because there could be value in it.
What else do you teach people when you do the class at CSN when I saw from an idea to self-publishing? So how do you take someone that has an idea to actually become a self-published author?
Yeah, I take them through all the steps in a overview, not everybody has a full manuscript when they come to the class. Some people may not even have an idea, and that's why we start at the very beginning. If you don't know where to get ideas, we talk about that. We talk about brainstorming with other people or just doing daily prompts, and there's tons of prompts out there that people can use. And I give them ideas of where to get ideas, and then I walk through the entire self-publishing process with them and essentially give them a checklist and a timeline. And so we go through everything from, this is how you create a book cover. This is what you need to look for when you're choosing an editor. Do you want to quote music lyrics? Here's the proper way to do this. This is how you copyright your work. This is how you market your work. And I take them really from the first time you sit down and you start having an idea all the way through pushing the button and publishing yourself on Amazon. I give them the steps so that when they're ready to do it, they have a blueprint. And it's my journey that I used and I've turned into a class. Other people may have different ideas or options on how to get out there, but it gives somebody something tangible to hold. And if you don't have any other ideas or ways to do it, this will get you published. And I'm amazed at my students and the ideas that they've really brought to class. I mean, some of the things have just blown my mind, and I'm waiting on several of their works because between poetry and real life stories, their imaginations are just limitless, and they have great things coming out. But I love the class. I love the idea. Now it's up to you how fast you write. So you don't necessarily end the class ready to publish, but you certainly can. If you were diligent and you write every day, you can have a manuscript in 30 to 60 days and get it out there in a couple months. But for most people, they really take time, at least on their first one, and flesh it out and really pour over everything and maybe get caught up in perfectionism a little bit. So it takes a little more coaxing to get people to actually release the work, because that for me was the hardest part, actually releasing it to the world.
Yeah, well, but you did it. That's good. So when people take the course, how long does it take, and do people pay to CSN?
Yeah, the course actually, our next session starts in October. It's going to be every Tuesday in October from 6 to 8. So it's 4 weeks, 2 hours each session. I believe CSN charges $95 or $99 for the course. And I think you can go to their community enrichment page and probably find it there to sign up. And I have a course book that I send all the students. And what I normally do is I teach for an hour and a half, and then I leave the last half hour for the students. So, pretty much everybody has come to the class with an idea already in progress. And for those that don't have an idea, I give them daily prompts so that they can at least write something. And I leave that last half hour for people to read a little bit of their work, and then we kind of do a roundtable discussion and critique it and give them feedback. And people have really gotten great ideas just from showcasing a little bit of their work and getting input from people who will be their potential readers. So the format has worked really well, and we all have just enjoyed each other so much.
I'm glad. I figured Toastmasters training has helped you a lot, and like just bringing the discussion together and having brainstorming and give people the power to critique and support each other.
Yeah. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people are introduced to. If you're not going to writers groups regularly and you're kind of writing in your home and you're in a bubble, you don't normally bounce your ideas off of anyone, or maybe you think, oh, it's not good enough, or I don't want to read it. But I think we just create such a safe space in the classroom. I normally don't record the session unless somebody has to miss a class or something. But that moment, that space is just ours to bounce ideas off each other, and we all want each other to succeed. So I think people feel safe enough to share their work, and a lot of times it's their first time reading something out loud. In my last session, one woman, she had like 30 years of poetry that she had found in her garage, and she went and started refining some of that work and adding on to it and she brought it to the table and was able to read poetry from it. And then it sparked other ideas based on what's going on in the world today. And she was just amazed at where her work was going in such a short amount of time. And I always say ideas bring on more ideas. So the more you start writing, the more you start putting yourself in that space, then you will start flowing with more words because your body is kind of in that mode at that point. So I'm excited for my students. So come on, everybody, come on in. It's online this time. They haven't opened the campus back up, so anybody from anywhere in the world can join in on this session, and we will be happy to have you. So I guess I should say 6 to 8 Pacific time.
That's nice. Do you have like a link that people can follow you? Can
Um,
follow well, pretty much what I intend to say is where can people follow you, and will you like share a link for them to follow to join the course or a way of paying or something?
I will have to find that because I don't have the link for CSN. I know if you go to the College of Southern Nevada, I believe they call it the Community Enrichment. It's not an accredited course. It's really kind of a continuing education. So it should be listed there. I was told that the listing would be put up today, but I wasn't provided with a link just yet. And the classes do start that first Tuesday in October. So there's still a couple more weeks to sign up. I will also be posting it as I get it on my own social media, and I'm on Facebook under official Nadia Gilkes. I'm also on Instagram, nadia.gilkes. So I'm out there. You definitely can find me as well. And you can always shoot me a message if you don't see it in a couple of days, and I'll be happy to send it to whoever.
Sounds good. What else do you offer as far as training, or if someone wanted to contact you for help with anything, what else can you help them with?
Oh my goodness, it's interesting that you ask. This pandemic has brought on a whole new business idea, and it's really something that I never anticipated doing. I've always loved event planning, but I never thought that I would be a virtual event planner. And what I've been doing for people is really taking the events that they normally may have had in person and crafted an online event for them that's still engaging, still a lot of fun. I say professionalism with a little bit of pizzazz because I like everything to be sparkly and engaging. But I've been putting on business meetings for people. I facilitated different exec board meetings. I've done a couple conferences. I have another conference coming up for someone. I did my own book festival, and now I'm launching into weddings. And that's going to be a really fun venture. I think that's going to be my favorite, where a lot of people getting married in this COVID time, they're limited in the amount of people that they can have in person. And so I will set up my account, and the rest of the people can join me online, and we have our own party while we're watching the wedding happen. So that's been a lot of fun, just interviewing people and recording that and getting well wishes for the happy couple, and having everybody online still be able to put in on the celebration and have that video incorporated into their main video when they put their event together. So I've somehow become a virtual event planner in all of this. So definitely, if anybody has any event that they need to put in an online platform and they're not sure what to do, birthday party, anniversary party, a meeting, a conference, what have you, I can definitely sit with you, brainstorm with you, and help you make that come to light.
That sounds very interesting. Yay, you're gonna be surprised how many people call you.
Oh, yes.
Right now has changed. I can just think of a wedding and you having testimonials, or then giving them shout outs or best wishes and all that. And it's something they can actually save, as a recording and as a memory, because you never know who's gonna be present next year.
That's
Like,
true.
yeah, I think it could be a treasure for someone.
Oh, definitely. And I've pretty much told the couples that I've been working with, if they have a videographer that's going to be on site, I can give that video to the videographer and he can blend it into the final production. And it really does feel like the people online got to be a part of the wedding because their words and their images are on there on that main video, and the couple just enjoy that. So it's again, building a legacy and bringing people together and really just making an engaging experience for the audience as well as for the person that hired me. And it's been a thrill to help people really still realize that they can get their event out there and be just as inspiring online as in person. Because I don't really think we're going to be doing big events in person anytime soon. I think it's probably going to be next summer before big corporations are really safe. So we just have to make the best of it until then.
That sounds kind of long. Like just thinking that we've been
I know.
yeah, yeah, it's standing by since March and it's already like, almost October. And thinking of another year, it's so long. I can think of little ones and how different it is for them to do school online.
I know. I was just watching like the big corporations like Google and Facebook and all of these places, they're saying they're not even going to have people come back to the office until January. And then when you look at the big events that we normally have here in Vegas, because this is pretty much conference capital, CES was going to be in January. They've already put that online. There's been a couple other big conferences where, at the earliest, I think we don't have anything large booked until next summer. And I know that we have advertisements for Usher's concert. I think he's the first one stepping back on the strip for a residency. That's next July. So just looking at the advertisements that I've seen, I think if you're talking about bringing hundreds of people together and certainly thousands of people together, we're probably not looking at that until next summer. And then, if you listen to the CDC, they're saying they're not going to have a vaccine to go around the world until like the end of next year. So if you're waiting on a vaccine to feel safe, you're not going to be able to do those things in person. And so I love to just show people that you can still have something engaging and interactive, and people online can still feel like they're right there and they're in the safety of their homes. So that's where I come in.
Well, it's a way of working from home for you as well, and plan your time. Definitely plan your time and plan your activities and whatever it is that you like to do. And it's like having that free time.
Yes, I love it.
I'm glad, such a beautiful project. Anything else that you want to say, or anyone that you want to shout out, or remind people where to follow you, how to find you, how to contact you?
Oh my goodness. Well, people shouting out. My family has been so supportive these past few years. Everybody has given me great feedback on the book. It's one of those things where it's bittersweet. I wish my mom was here to experience it with me, but I lost her 4 years ago. And it was just around that time that I actually got the idea. So it was just one of those things like, I don't know if I would have even thought about writing a book if she was still here. My life shifted when she left. So always thinking of my mom and taking her with me in whatever I do, and my siblings, and my Toastmasters family has been amazing here in Las Vegas. It's really just been a rebirth for me. Like, Las Vegas is the best move that I've ever made. And I've met some wonderful people, Malik and Diane and Andy and my Jackpot family and Sherry. And yeah, so my Toastmasters family is a big deal to me. And I just love Las Vegas. I tell people, find your happy place. It was my happy place. I used to come here 4 or 5 times a year. And one day I woke up and I said, why don't I just live there? And now I live in my happy place. So I encourage everybody, especially with everything going on, find your happy place and get there if you can. And as far as finding me, again, I'm on Facebook, official Nadia Gilkes, Twitter, I think at Nadia Gilkes, but I don't use Twitter that much. And Instagram, you could find me under Nadia Gilkes or Nadia.presents, either one of those. Nadia Presents is my new online company. And you can find my book on Amazon, Woke Up Dead.
I'm so happy to have you, Nadia. And you're welcome to come back as well to meet my friends. And I'm doing 21 days until Christmas. I'm going to start recording, I want to say probably the end of November, beginning of December, to bring up the spirit, because I don't know how Christmas is going to be,
I was just going to ask, what is Christmas going to look like this year?
Yes, I know. So this is why we're helping bring in the joy. So it's going to be the same on Zoom until we can do in person. But I was thinking for the reunion, if we could do it in person for Christmas Day, but it's gonna be pre-recorded where the videos are gonna be on YouTube and they're
Mhm.
going to be available to be shared. So if you have any decoration or ritual that you do for Christmas, backgrounds, hats, songs, any Christmas music, anything you can think of related to Christmas, you're welcome to participate. I think I was thinking probably to do, we can do one-on-one still just to give people the opportunity to share, but
Mhm.
also to do like a reunion, like two people and organize something beautiful for people to share.
Oh, that would be fun. I could cook and I can have my little decorations. And my traditions are really simple. It's I always need to watch Trading Places. That's my Christmas movie. Not so Christmassy with Eddie Murphy, but Trading Places. And then on Christmas Day, I listen to Mariah Carey's Christmas CD and Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC. I'm like, until those three things happen, Christmas has not happened. So so that's my Christmas ritual, and I'll probably be home by myself. So whatever you plan, I'm here for it.
Thank you. Yeah, that might inspire someone. And also, we need to look at the copyright. We're probably able to use songs maybe less than 30 seconds or part of the music or something.
Mhm.
I'll have to look into that. We don't want to get in trouble, or get
Yeah.
charged because we're not making money on this. Yeah.
Right.
So, just to be safe and just the creativity. I just want to bring up the joy and
Mhm.
to have something positive to share. You know how when the spirit starts coming is the highest vibration of love in the world. So I want us to have that content for us to share and for people to share it as well with whoever they care, and also on social media.
Oh, I love that because I'm an introvert and I'm normally alone on the holidays. So I'm sure there's a ton of people that's just like me that would just love to have something to watch and rejoice in with other people. So that sounds like so much fun.
Well, imagine if who they're watching is someone they know and they care for.
That's true, yeah. I could send it to my family. Everybody else is on the East Coast, so I'll send it to my family and say, "This is what I look like this Christmas, but I don't know if I'm gonna get on a plane and come see you."
Well, you can always create your own video, but how fun it will be to share it and share with someone that is crazy enough to do the same thing with you.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm number 18, so I can't wait to meet the other 17 people and whoever comes after me, and I can't wait for a big old reunion so that we all get to vibe with each other and see each other and really embrace each other.
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. I'm seeing a big event where it's gonna be free admission,
Mm.
but we get to sell our merchandise.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so your books, whatever it is that you have, I'm gonna be making shirts for us. I don't know, how our budget will be to make more for selling. We'll, probably have a meeting about it and see what people think and if we need to put some money for the venue, depending on where we go. But
Mhm.
I'm thinking not spending more than $100 each because it's gonna be a lot of us. I'm looking at least 80 people
Oh,
uh,
wow.
by
Okay.
the time we're able to do an event, but we can do reunions like 10 people, 10 guests. So far you're already 18. The only gap I have is number 13 because when I did the interview with Laura Porreca, Zoom wasn't working that day, so I wasn't able to get the recording. So I
Oh,
have to redo that one. But definitely, if I have a gap, I need to fill it. But I still continue to record with whoever else gives me the opportunity because the more variety I have, is the more attractive people is going to be to watch them because
mhm.
everyone has a different topic. And what I love about this is that every guest teaches me something and it gives me a new idea. How can I make it better?
Oh, nice. I love that. Well, I definitely could probably get you more people to interview if you need more people.
Yes. Yeah, if you know someone that is willing and they like the concept, let me know.
Well, I know my friend Tony, he was interested. I don't know if you reached out to him or not, but I know when you came to the festival, he was very interested. I told him afterwards that you were looking to interview more people, and he was really excited. So I can give him your number or give you his info, and I'm sure that he would want to be a part of that, and probably some of the other authors that were featured at the festival. And then I'll have my next festival coming February 13th. So there'll be a whole new host of authors there. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, of course, I'm definitely looking to have more people, and if they're willing, if they, it's pretty simple, the way I do is just a Zoom interview. It's
Mhm.
just having the time and be willing to have your content on YouTube
Yeah.
because it's gonna be there for a while, you know. So what I tell people is why you want to share that you want to be ashamed what your family will say, but also what you want to share with people that necessarily doesn't know you. So
Hmm.
just, you know, be careful what you're saying. But definitely where people can follow you and stuff, that's public. So, you know, there's
Yeah.
nothing to be afraid of. It's just it's all positive all around. And I know that everyone has a message and I want people to hear it.
Yeah. Everybody has a story. That's what I always say. That's why I started teaching my class. Everyone should get their story out there so we can learn from each other.
I'm glad. I'm so glad to have you, Nadia. Thank you so much for taking the time. I
Thank-
will upload the video today already, so you'll see it today.
Okay. Oh, you're quick.
I like to do it fast because I want people to see you. Like once when I send the promo out of your intro, like people is already expected to see the interview. So I
Oh,
understand that. That's why I just, you know, as soon as I can upload it to both of the channels, I do it. It takes a while when I'm doing both at the same time, but I'm just anxious. I want it out.
oh, well, thank you so much for your time and for your exposure. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you soon. I'll see you again. Anytime you want to come back, let me know. So
Okay.
we just call it Nadia Gilkes the return. But you
Okay.
could it used to keep your number 18 and if you think of an idea or anything you want to share or anything you like to promote or invite people for an event or anything, we can do it if you like. Just let me know.
Okay. That sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.